8:34 on this Tuesday. Welcome back to KPRC 2 Plus now at 8. It is Tuesday, and you know what that means. Time for Pop-Off Politics. Mario Diaz is here. We're switching things up.
Yeah.
We're in the podcast room.
I know. I'm checking this out.
I know. We're both like, this is maybe the first time we were in here.
I took it casual today. I feel like I just played. You look at the vibe in here. I feel like I just played 18. I'm in the clubhouse at a golf club in like Barcelona.
Where are the drinks?
I mean, look at this.
Where are the drinks?
It's really nice. It's got a nice slick feel to it.
A little intimate. The reason why we are in here is because renovations continue on Studio
That
A.
extreme makeover.
That extreme makeover. Right. It's happening. I'm hearing we're pretty close to the end. We'll get to that more.
I can't wait to play with that television monitor. I'm going to have, I already have ideas.
Studio is beautiful.
I already got an idea. It's good. Oh, it's going to be good.
They've done a really nice job. Okay, so the location is different. Right. The conversation, the content, it's all the same.
That's right.
What are we talking about this week?
Well, the reason we talk about pop-off politics every week is, what is the why?
Yeah.
My wife and I talk about that. That's a big thing these days. The why. The why with pop-off politics is quite simple, okay? Because there are so many moving factors within government, as you know, in which they want to pass this agenda, and we want to pass that agenda, and we want to throw that agenda out there, and we want to throw that one. Hey, let's vote on this. Boom, we're going to pass it. It's gone. But the problem is most people don't really understand what's happening in city government. They don't understand, hey, we just spent X amount of dollars with regards to this project.
That money being your money.
Exactly. And so we focus on Houston City Council. Why? Well, it's because we're the fourth largest city in America, and it's the biggest city council in our area. And we've been doing this now for nearly a year. And, we've been able to highlight some things in that period, protecting you, that people have been tagging with regards to city council.
And tagging means
they kick it down the road. Yeah, they kick it down the road. And what they do by that, when I mean tag, is that, we brought attention to it, and some of these items didn't happen. Yeah. So we can literally say there's one item in particular that I know of where there was talk of about $18 to $22 million. Our questions killed that item. So this is why we do this. Yeah. This is why we examine this.
It's an important conversation to have. I want to kick it off, with Fifth Ward.
Fifth Ward.
Fifth Ward has been making headlines for years, not for good reason.
No.
Sadly, it's because of these cancer clusters.
Right. And what we're focusing on, if you remember back on January the 7th,
of this year.
I believe it was January 7th. January 10th.
Okay.
January, one of those.
The beginning of January.
Yeah, the beginning of January. It was Mayor Whitmire's first city council. And what he wanted to do was like, hey, what's going on over here? That's what he was asking about, because they wanted to pass $5 million that was originally voted on back in September of last year. They wanted to take a portion of the $5 million that they passed in September of last year, $2 million in particular, and use that money for administrative costs.
Again, this is under a different administration.
And what this pertained to is the cancer cluster in the Fifth Ward. This is the old rail yard there. The
Union Pacific rail.
Well, it's still there. I should say the rail yard's still there, but it's the old wood processing plant that they had on site there. And they used to paint the railroad ties. And what they've seen is that this has caused cancer over the years. The EPA's been out there, and residents have been seeing a high number of people that have been impacted by cancer. And so there was this relocation project, somewhere around 41 homes that they wanted to move around. Less than 50.
41 properties impacted.
Right. Yeah, by this plume. They wanted to move this. And what happened was that it's going to take costs. You have to move people. And that's what Whitmire's saying is like, why are we spending $2 million in administrative costs?
When we could be.
Right. And he also brought up this point. He said, why didn't you guys vote on $40 million, which is what it should have been to do this project? And that's what I'm starting to get some numbers on. Instead of just voting $5 million on this, why don't we look at the whole? Right. So Whitmire was agitated because he's now on the clock. He's the new sheriff.
This is now his problem.
And perfect. It's his problem. And he's trying to figure out what's going on here. So what he asked for was, hey, give me a month.
This is at the beginning of January.
Yeah. He said, give me a month.
So
give me a month to figure out a plan here with my people. Let me start talking to some people, because I don't want to just throw $2 million in administrative costs if we don't really have a plan. Can someone show me the plan? And that's what it was really coming down to, is that they have no plan here, Zach. The previous administration passed all this money, but there's no, and they just want to throw $2 million to administrative costs. So you're going to see tomorrow at City Council, you're going to see some people that are going to say, okay, Mayor, you've had a month. What do you got?
So when you say $2 million to administrative cost, break down what administrative cost means.
That's the thing.
Are you privy to that?
That they really haven't done that.
Oh, okay.
That's the issue here.
When I think of administrative costs, I'm wondering, is this going into someone's pocket?
Paperwork tied to the families in terms of getting it done. But it comes down to like $250,000 per home, according to the mayor.
Yeah.
And what he was really hammering on the point on here is that, listen, give me a month. Let me go talk to some people. Let me get Union Pacific.
Give me time to figure this out.
Let me get Union Pacific to say. And I can tell you that, and I spoke to Mayor Whitmire about this yesterday. Spoke to him about this yesterday afternoon. I said, hey, what are you really doing? What are we going to hear about on Wednesday? He goes, well, I've spoken to the EPA. In fact, we've had conversations with Dr. Nance. She's the head of the EPA for Region 6. So they did reach out to the EPA. They're trying to get the stakeholders. But he's also gone out into the neighborhood. According to him, he said this at last city council, taking a drive out there and met with some residents about this.
Mario, I know you've also done the same thing. You've spent hours in this neighborhood. What are these people telling you? What are people who live there saying to you?
They're glad that they put a plan on this and a hold on this because they want a real plan.
Solution. They want a solution.
They want a plan. They want to see a path towards that solution.
Yeah.
And we know that there's other individuals involved with this, lawyers, who are trying to look out for these families. It's going to be a legal fight. It's going to be a complex fight. And it's going to be intriguing to see what people have to say tomorrow when the mayor unveils his plan.
And it is going to take time, but knowing that this is coming to fruition, a path to that solution, as you mentioned, is really important. I do have one question before we move on. I know when you think of 5th Ward, that's to like the northeast of the city, there's quite a bit of development happening over there. I think of breweries for one. I've gone to a few breweries.
Let me wrap this up in 1 minute.
Yeah,
Let me wrap this up in 1 minute. We do know that there is construction going on because we've been out there. We saw the new townhomes that were going on. There have been some new developments. And the argument here is that land is contaminated. There's a plume. There's like a circle. All right, let me show you something. Here's the circle of what they say is the damage. Imagine this circle. They say this circle is the area that's damaged right here. This little circle right here. But there's attorneys that are saying, wait a second, we think this entire area is damaged. And that's what the deal is. They're trying to figure out
how big
is the contamination.
Yes.
And the residents are telling me that, hey, we're happy about this plan. You do see new developments within that circle. You see new developments outside that circle. So that's the question here. What's the real contamination here? They're trying to break that down. How many people are truly impacted? And at the end of the day, how are we going to move forward instead of just throwing money at it for administrative costs?
All good information. Pop Off Politics with Mario Diaz. I hear you're sticking around.
I am.
Coming up after the break, the conversation continues with this guy. You're watching KPRC 2 Plus now at 8.